What is up, guys? Welcome to the Hangout. I am your host, BJ Kicks. I buy comics, I read them, I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. This is the Hangout. This is the show where we hang out. We talk about comics, we talk about movies, talk about whatever we want as long as it's comic related. I would apologize for being late, but my homie C Rook says that time is relative. Give me a second because that light is like super hot. Turn this down a little bit. Good evening, Gabriel. What's up, Comics Kings Station? Station to you, sir. Turn that down a little bit more. All right, there we go. That's more like it. I hope you guys are doing well. So like I said, this is the Hangout. Thanks if you were watching this on the replay. You're the homie. I appreciate you. But if you're watching live, what's up? What's up? Glad to see you guys here. It's another Thursday. We missed the Hangout last week. My youngest daughter, the baby, got a cold and then gave it to the rest of the house. So it's been a crazy 2 weeks at this point because she got sick, last Tuesday? It's been a crazy 2 weeks. Everybody's on the mend. Everybody's doing better. What's up, Thomas? Yes, we were just talking about her. But yeah, she's doing well now. It's funny. We are actually preparing for her first birthday party. It's going down this Saturday. She turns a year old on Sunday, which is crazy. That's crazy. I remember it like it was yesterday because it was only a year ago. What's up, Jelliot? Jelliot is one of the mods in the K-Squad group here on Facebook. I said here on Facebook, and we're clearly on YouTube, but you know how it goes. So before we get on with tonight's festivities, as you saw in the title and thumbnail, I finally watched No Way Home. Like, finally. I was just watching Naomi, actually, right there. But yeah, I finally watched Spider-Man No Way Home and quite enjoyed it. I feel like I missed out. Like, watching it was still just as epic of a movie. It's the same movie, of course. But I feel like I really should have seen that in a theater. Like, that would have been a fun experience. That experience rivaled Endgame for me as like one of my favorite MCU moments. But anyway, we'll talk about my thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home. And we will also talk about, what else are we talking about? Some just random life updates. I got some new books in. I'll show you guys some of those. And yeah, we're just having a good time. Monique says that was quick. Yes, it was quick. So for those of you guys who were here, a year ago, it went by. Now, you guys, for those of you who don't know, my daughter was born prematurely. She was due in June, but was born in March. So she was unexpected in that way. So it was just a normal Friday night. We were watching the Snyder Cut of Justice League, and my wife's water breaks, and that was Friday night. But by like 1 a.m. Saturday, Squeak was here. So she spent her first 3 months, longer than that. It was 105 days she spent in the hospital, in the NICU. And she came out, and she's been home with us ever since. And it's been cool. She's been growing. She's about to graduate from physical therapy. Like, they're just trying to help her get better at like crawling and stuff, like hip mobility. She's a little monster, like just running around. She's pulling up. She's trying to stand now. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, the milestones, like once they start, they just keep on coming. But anyway, all that to say, Squeak is doing very well. Thanks for asking. Tim, what's up, dude? What's good? What's good? Albo's here. I don't recognize your name, but it's good to see you. Welcome if it's your first time. My man C Rook just finished his workout routine so late he had time to finish it before the stream. I was late. I was late by like 5 minutes, so I apologize. In preparing for Squeak's birthday party, my wife went out to get her hair done, and she didn't get back until right as the stream was supposed to start. So I had to help her get in the house and whatnot. But let's see. C Rook says, that sounds stressful. Hope she hasn't had too many developmental issues. Premature baby tend to have some early life difficulties. She's been blessed in that she hasn't had a lot of issues relative to most kids born at her gestational age. But yeah, she's doing basically, besides being smaller than everyone else, she was like a normal baby. Like you wouldn't know that she was born premature. So it's absolutely a best case scenario, and I'm grateful for it because I know it could have been a different way. Um, Albo says, long time viewer, first time commenter. Keep up the good work. Thank you, man. Thanks for being here. What's up, Aku? That's a cool name too. Thank you so much, Gabriel. Thank you. But yes, so that's going down this Saturday. We are. I don't like the way this light is like putting this little haze up here. I should have positioned it differently, but we're live now. But yeah, so that's what this weekend's all about. We're doing a Sesame Street themed birthday party. We ordered custom shirts that haven't gotten here yet. I'm kind of upset about that, but whatever. We're on Sesame Street. That's how it's going. Let's see. So before we get any further into the show, I told you we're going to talk about Spider-Man. We're going to talk about some comics. I have not read this week's comics, so there won't be reviews, but I'll show you some of my favorite covers this week and some other goodies. Before we get into all that, got to shout out the sponsor of the Hangout, and that is Ultimate Comics. So Ultimate Comics, they're my LCS. They've got 4 locations. They're the largest shop or largest chain of comic retailers in North Carolina. So they got these 4 locations in Raleigh, Durham, Cary, and the Crabtree Valley Mall. But don't worry if you're not local to our area. You can shop online at ultimatecomics.com, and you can also shop twice a week on their Facebook live show. They're actually live right now. It's every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. So when we wrap up here, you can hop over there for what they call last looks, which is basically anything that didn't sell during the first 2 hours of the show. They'll put it back up for like the last 30 minutes or so, or until it sells. And then they call it a night around 10 p.m. So shout out to Ultimate Comics. Thanks for sponsoring the Hangout. Let's see. I need to brush my teeth still. Biscuits first, though. Biscuits or cookies, right? You guys call cookies biscuits. But yeah. So while we're here getting all acquainted, having fun and stuff, what are you guys reading? Have you read anything? Have you finished any books lately that were like, yo, I like that? Or have you finished anything and you were like, I didn't like that? What have you been reading lately? That's what I want to know in the chat. My wife says that I shouldn't be drinking coffee because the creamer in the coffee makes me all congested and whatnot. So this is soda. I should probably find a healthier thing to drink during these streams, but hey. But yeah, so while you guys are talking about stuff that you've read, I'll show you something that I read this week. So I just happened to walk into the comic shop late because, like I said, with Squeak being sick, I try to like limit my activities, limit my travels. So I actually went out on Saturday and picked up my pull list. And while I was there at Ultimate Comics Raleigh, my homie Trevor, who I actually grew up like 2 houses down from, but anyway, he was putting this set out. So I saw him put this out, and he's like, "Hey, you know this is the first appearance of Kyle Rayner, right?" And I was like, "Huh, sure, I'll buy it." And then he puts this one up, and I was like, "Yo, I love that cover. This reminds me of like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Bill Russell. I just need that cover." And so I was like, "Cool, I'll grab that." And he's like, "Well, you might as well buy the whole set because this one is where Hal Jordan appears as the Parallax." And I was like, "Huh, sure, I'll grab the whole thing then." So I grabbed all of Green Lantern Emerald Twilight, and I read it. I actually read it almost immediately. Put it on this side. Yeah, there we go. So I read this almost immediately. I read it. I want to say I read this Sunday afternoon. Nice little 3-issue story. I enjoyed it, but if you've read Green Lantern Rebirth by Jeff Johns, it pretty much retcons this whole story. And so many of like the major details of this I already knew from reading Rebirth, and Rebirth kind of like makes this not as strong, but it's still a good read. Like still a good read. if you hadn't read it before. I enjoyed it. Hal Jordan, Breaking Bad, and just really, really sticking it to the Guardians of Oa. So a cool book, cool book. So that's something I've read here lately. Let's see. Gabriel found Batman Eternal at Ollie's and started reading it. It's good so far. Word, I picked up Batman Eternal at Ollie's as well. I actually posted a video about it. That was a really good Ollie's trip. I hadn't had a good Ollie's trip in a while, but that was a good one. Biscuits in America look more similar to scones here. I want to try them. Biscuits in America are not sweet. They're not a dessert at all. Biscuits in America are like, trying to describe the taste of a biscuit. It's bread, but it's like fluffy. I think I've had a scone. It's not like that. I don't remember if I've had a scone before. But anyway, they're interesting. They're good though. Biscuits are great. X Lives and Deaths of Wolverine is underrated. I'm enjoying it. I still need to read X Deaths number 5. I think that came out this week. And I told you guys I lost X Lives number 2. I didn't lose it. It's somewhere in this house or in this room, but I haven't had time to go through my books and organize stuff. So I've only been reading X Deaths this whole time. I hear it finally linked up this week. So I'm going to have to go back and read X Lives. But I said this in my review last week, but I'm kind of glad that I only read X Deaths because I feel like I get to experience it all over again or like a whole different way. I basically get like 2 or 3 reads out of it because I'm going to read X Deaths all the way through. Then I'm going to read X Lives all the way through. And then I'm going to read them together. That's my plan. So I think reading it 3 different ways will be fun. C-Rook read Christopher Priest's The Client story arc and wasn't a fan. I will say this. Christopher Priest's Black Panther is a slow burn. And that's kind of a trope of Priest. It takes a little while to get into the meat of the story. And so if you're not a fan of the cultural humor that Priest often brings to his books, they may not hook you at first, because at first you're going to get the humor. You're going to get like it's very heady. Like I just read the first 2 issues of Quantum and Woody, and that it's that way as well, where it's like, okay, you get like the sort of race related jokes or whatever. But then the story kind of jumps in and you get super deep. But anyway, Christopher Priest is a slow burn depending on which story, but by all accounts, his Black Panther run is like the seminal work on the character. So I'd encourage you to try to stick it out, but if it's not for you, it's not for you, and that's totally fine too. Latest issue of Silvercoin was really good. Word, I never grabbed that title. I've heard that it was good though, because it was like the first 5 or 6 issues, they were all by different writers, which is an interesting concept. I probably need to grab that in trade. C-Rook is currently reading Captain America: The New Deal. How does that go? Or like, I wonder if like being from outside of America gives you a different perspective on Captain America, the superhero. I've not really read much Captain America. I started reading the Ed Brubaker run a little while back, and I got through like 10 to 12 issues of that, but I haven't finished it. But yeah, I just wonder like how that feels for someone who's not American. Logan finally got caught up on Berserker. He's loving the series. I fell off Berserker at like issue 4, not because I didn't like it, but because I wasn't reading it enough to justify like continuing to buy it. So it didn't survive my pull list purge of like November of last year. Thomas Shevlin's going to reread Green Arrow Quiver. Haven't read it in a long time. Is that a good Green Arrow story to start with? Because I actually have that in the DC Eagle Moss hardcovers that I got from Zabby. Both parts, actually. Chris Priest is going to start writing Black Adam this summer. Can't wait. That's exciting. I always love when Chris Priest gets a new book, because he kind of like exiles himself from comics like every few years. So I know he's been writing Vampirella for like the last 2 years now. I don't read Vampirella, so I can't say how it was. But yes, I always get excited when Priest gets a mainline title. Quiver was awesome. Word. Searook says he imagines it's still better than Wanted Hal Jordan. I didn't read Wanted Hal Jordan. I have that in the Eagle Moss hardcover as well. Tim Sheeran found his childhood comic Batman Beyond #1, the Kids WB variant. I think that's worth some money. I don't remember, but I believe it is. Let's see. Savory. Gabriel's got book he's not started or need to finish. Got to stop purchasing books for a little bit. Yeah, you and me both. This stack beside me, this is the last 2 weeks of comic books right here. Wait, is that? I don't even know what this is right here. Oh, this is, I think, this is the stack from when the Diamond books got delayed and I didn't get those until late. And then those back there, those are DC duplicates I need to bag and board and put away. Let's see. Savory scones are my jam. They're really good in beef stew. Word. Oh, you're talking about how to describe the taste of biscuits? Yeah, savory, I would say that they're savory. Well, if there's a such thing as savory scones, then sure. Maybe they're the same thing. Maybe they're close. Sirius says he's sure if he read more of Priest Black Panther, you'd like it more. It's possible. It's hard to like. So, okay. Update. Life update. I'm reading Uncanny X-Men, the Omnibus, Volume 1. And I have finally, I'm very close to finishing it. I think Volume 1 goes up to issue 131. And I'm on issue 1. What issue is this? 119 of X-Men. But you know what? It was the Starjammer story arc where Corsair, or Scott Summers' dad, gets introduced. That story arc, the whole I mean, it's about Phoenix, but it was like there was the Soul Drinker, and I was like, what the heck is happening? And it took me out of the story for a second. What I appreciate about Claremont's X-Men is that it's like you'll get some of that deep space stuff, and then in the next issue, they're like playing baseball or something until the next threat comes. I like that Claremont's X-Men still feels very episodic. Like you can kind of jump in and out is how it feels. But there are these subplots thrown all throughout. It seems like every other issue, Claremont is like teasing something that he's going to pick up and talk about later. So it doesn't necessarily feel like I got to read this issue to issue, but it very much feels like a soap opera where it's like, okay, I got to come back tomorrow, see if anything's going to happen from this or that other thing that we haven't heard about in a little while. So it's very cool so far. But I said all that to say sometimes sticking through a comic can be really, really helpful. It can be really good because this starts with Giant Size X-Men #1 and then goes from 93, I believe, to 131. And I would say I didn't get like hooked on this book until about issue 110. That's when I was like, okay, I can't put this down. I really like it. So we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of the iPad, let me turn the notifications off so it's not ringing. Monique's been trying to get into reading Daredevil. I hear, which story is it that I was told to start with? I don't remember. I really don't remember. I like the Charles Soule run, but everybody told me I had to read Bendis and Brubaker first. Marvel Knights Daredevil, I think I was told is a good starting point. And then if you just want like a standalone trade paperback, I'm trying to remember the name. I think it's The Man Without Fear is the one that my homie Bunkmaster B sent to me. And I got to read that soon. Searook is super anti-patriotism, so it's a character he has issues with. Doesn't mind the characters overall. Prefers stories where he rejects the American government. Word. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. I as a Black American, I don't feel as patriotic as maybe some others do, right? Like I have friends at church, for example, whose grandparents fought in like World War II or something, and they're like all about the American flag or whatever. And I got like another friend who loves like studying the Civil War. Um, it's interesting because obviously like Black people have been in America through both of those events. But it's not a history that feels as personal to me as I've observed it feeling to others. And for that reason, Captain America's never really been super appealing to me. I like the spy aspect of Ed Brubaker's run though, and that makes me want to like read into the character deeper. But yeah, there's nothing that's like, yeah, let me go get all American and go punch some Nazis or whatever. Like I don't particularly, it's not something I connect with. I'm not anti that. It's just not like, it's not the draw for me to the character, I guess is my point. Quiver's a good one. Word. I'll have to check that out. I love your profile picture, by the way, Monique. Okay, Tom is saying Quiver is a standalone, so it's a good jumping on. Nice. Aku says, about to start Far Sector, looks so good, and it's a detective story, and I'm a Batman fan, so it should be good. Yes, Far Sector is a good detective story. And if you like Far Sector, you should definitely follow that up with Jeffrey Thorne's run on Green Lantern, which just ended this week. It's only 12 issues, but basically Joe Mullen gets to be a detective on a bigger scale in this latest Green Lantern run. So really cool. Let's see. Gabriel's not read a single X-Men comic. Feels like you should though. I can't tell anybody what they should read, but I like it. The only thing with X-Men, from what I hear, Claremont is like the best X-Men to read. But it's very verbose. Like I like the way Claremont writes, but he does write a lot of words. So it's taken so long for me to read this book. But I mean, I'm not in a position where I can like read a whole lot. I don't get a lot of uninterrupted time. I got an infant in the house. So it may just be my living situation. But I find that it takes me longer to read Claremont than it takes me to read anything else, but the stories are good. I like this character work. Everybody's got distinct voices, distinct backgrounds, distinct history. Um, so yeah, I like it. Um, but the fact that it's so wordy might so I'm all right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read these 3 boxes. Well, it's really 2 boxes, these 2 yellow boxes from this page of Uncanny X-Men number 119. Says the X-Men came to the land of the rising sun by accident after a last-minute rescue at the seaward entrance to the Savage Land. All they wanted was some help from Sunfire to get home. As usual, things have worked out somewhat differently, right? So it's all wordy, right? And then so Storm says, "There's our target, Kurt. Are you ready?" And Nightcrawler says, "As ready as I'll ever be, I guess. I've spotted where I want to land. You know, Aurora, even though this Verrückt stunt was my idea, ... I wish there was another way. But there's just there's so many words on every page. It's not like modern comics where you get like a whole bunch of splash pages, a few words and about dialogue. No. There's a lot of story there. He's writing this like as if it's daytime television, as if nobody's got anything else to do. And I think part of it is because back then, X-Men was only coming out once every 2 months. So every other month, you're getting an X-Men issue as opposed to every week. So the story's not going to go as fast. You're going to get a lot of reminders of the previous issues. So it just takes longer to read. But it's good, though. It's good. Claremont's X-Men, super nostalgic, love Days of Future Past and Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix got left in the garage for a month, got moto over it. Yikes. Tom says, if you want to get into reading Daredevil, start with Mark Waid's Marvel Now run. and follow that with Charles Soule, and follow that with Chip Zdarsky. That's good to know. So maybe I need to go back and read Mark Waid before I jump into that Charles Soule omnibus. I read the first story arc, that whole 10 Fingers story arc, okay, those first 6 issues. I don't remember what the name of that story arc was, but I really liked it. I was kind of disappointed at how quickly 10 Fingers went down, but I still like the story. C-Rook says he got called racial slurs in primary school. Hate the area I'm in. Never been proud of my country. Brutalized half the world. Yikes. Yeah. Patriotism is weird because, it's weird to believe in the state or a government because, like it's harder to defend a government than it is to defend a person because you never know how that government's going to act. And, whatever. This is not the venue for this conversation, but Monique says, thank you, I think, to the profile pic. And cool. Thanks, Thomas, for the Daredevil recommendations. I really appreciate it as well. Took me a month to get through the Dark Phoenix saga, says C. Rook. Still loved it, but yeah, it's long. Feels like a good kids show rather than a comic. Yeah, reading through Claremont's X-Men, it really does feel like I'm reading like the script to a TV show versus reading like a comic in the modern sense. It's not bad. It's a very good TV show, but it's a lot of words. A lot of words. So anyway, you guys told me what you've read recently, and I read Green Lantern Emerald Twilight, the story of how Hal Jordan became the Parallax, and I thought it was pretty good. It's pretty good. I love the art in it. And I love just like how quickly, I don't want to spoil it. Spoilers for a 30-year-old comic book. But I like how quickly Hal Jordan just took out all of the Green Lantern Corps and was just like, forget all of y'all. Like, whoever I have to go through, I don't care who it is. Like, I got it. So C-Rook says, maybe that's why his modern stuff isn't as well loved. I'm assuming you're speaking of Chris Claremont. Probably. I would assume that Claremont just kind of didn't change with the times, but I haven't read modern Claremont, so I don't want to speak on it and, mischaracterize anything. Gabriel's been burning a lot of comic characters onto wood for an upcoming event. Batman, TMNT, He-Man, Spawn, etc. Word. Speaking of Spawn, since we're on the subject, where'd I put it? So I've been doing this thing on Instagram. I said I've been doing it. I did it once. But I'm doing this thing called Covers of the Week on Instagram. And 2 of my covers of the week this week were Spawn related. So this is King Spawn number 8. I believe this is Javi Fernandez on the cover, but let me check. Kevin Keane and Donna Gio. I believe this is Kevin Keane on this cover. Really love it. I love the cape. I love Spawn just like lurking on the fire escape. I like it a lot. So yeah. Okay, yeah, that was like a K. So I think this is Kevin Keane cover A. But yeah, so that was one of my covers of the week. And this was another. This was the Scorched number 3. This is the B cover by Todd McFarlane. And it's an homage to the X-Men number 1 cover by Jim Lee. It's Image Comics' 30-year anniversary this year. So you're getting a lot of these 30th anniversary variants. Last week we got what did we get? That Spawn 327 it was an homage to Spider-Man number 1. So a lot of cool covers coming out here lately. That's another thing I got recently. And it's 7:35. So let's go ahead and talk about some other stuff that I got. And this portion of the show, whoops, almost ended the broadcast. Click the wrong button. But this portion of the show is going to be brought to you by Organic Price Books. They are the best place to look for collected editions, whether you're looking for oversized hardcovers, trade paperbacks, omnis, they got it all. go to organicpricebooks.com or just use the links in the description. You can use my coupon code BJKicks to save $2 on every order at organicpricebooks.com. But yeah, so let's talk about some other stuff that I got in here recently. I just unboxed a bunch of stuff yesterday on the channel. So if you missed that, go check that out. There was like 5 packages. So I had the Howard the Duck Omnibus, some Black Panther, and some single issues and stuff as well. But I just got this package. I actually just opened it like right before the stream. And it was from my homie Kevin. So he sent it with a note. Says, Mr. Kicks, happy reading. All the best, Kevin K. So my man Kev, he's one of the moderators in the K Squad on Facebook as well. And he's like the indie comics master. He reads anything indie. He is not a big superhero guy. He's not big on like the confusing continuity of the big two. So he reads pretty much all the indie books that he can find. And he's the one that put me onto the Black Cotton series. And so you've heard me mention him on the channel a few times because every now and then he'll send me a book that is independent that he thinks I need to read. So he sent me Monstrous, which I still need to read. He sent me the Black Cotton, like I said. He sent me this really awesome fan art or sketch cover for Milestone Returns. He sent me a lot of cool stuff over the last year that we've been doing this. But he's been trying to get me to check out the Stranger Comics universe. So Stranger Comics, what do I know about Stranger Comics? I want to say they're Black owned, but I can't say that because I don't think that's the case. But I know that their comic book universe focuses on Black characters. Well, they got a book coming out now. You know what? Let me share my screen. Give me a second here. All right, so this is Stranger Comics. By the way, it's Women's History Month, so you can get 20% off anything on their website with the discount code WHM. That's good to know. That's very good to know. But yeah, so they've got this Untamed universe. I believe it's what it's called. And so they've got Niobe, Dusu, Erathun, etc. And so I have been eyeing this hardcover bundle, which at 20% off, 20%, that's going to get you $20 off every 100. So $40 off of this price, $160. You can get all 6 of these hardcovers, which I believe the hardcovers retailed for, what did they retail for? $240. Because I think they're all like $40 each. But anyway, so this is Stranger Comics. It's a universe I don't know a ton about. But it says Stranger Comics creates content with a philosophy of quality where both story and art are sacred and authentic representation matters. So their hero is Niobe Ayutami. Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, they're all about inclusivity. And they do like fantasy books and things like that. I need to read more. I need to read my Stranger Comics. But anyway, so Kev has been trying to get me to read Stranger Comics. I wanted to buy the hardcover set. It was a little rich for my blood, or it's not even that it was that. It's just other things kept coming up. So I was about to buy the Stranger Comics set, and then I got that deal for Static 45. So it's like stuff like that would happen. But anyway, Kev recently decided to upgrade from trade paperbacks to the hardcover for the Asunda Universe titles. And so he gave me a great deal on his trade paperback set. So now I have the entire Asunda library. And so, oh, cool. So it's got a reading order. It's a little card, a little cheat sheet for the reading order. So we've got the Untamed, the Sinner's Prayer, the Untamed Volume 2, Killing Floor, Dusu, Path of the Ancient, Niobe, She is Life, Niobe, She is Death, and Arathun. I hope I'm saying all these right. So hopefully here soon we get the Stranger Comics guys in to join the Hangout, or at least do an interview like pre-recorded. But I'm very excited about these books. I've been looking at them for a while. Fantasy is very much a new genre for me. Like I have not read a lot of fantasy in the past. Um, but I mean, the art on these covers just looks really good. And I'm always down to try out new stories featuring creators and or characters of color. So I got to get into these. I got to finish reading the Unique universe, the Malika Warrior Queen, Niobe Child of Wonder, not Niobe. Now I can't remember. Is it Ayam? What is the name of that book? I don't remember. But there's also Exo, The Legend of Wale Williams. Black Cotton, is that the David Walker one? No, Black Cotton is Brian Hawkins and Patrick Foreman. It's really good. It's the one that's the one where it's like the race roles are flipped. So like a black police officer shoots a minority white woman, and there's like a bunch of fallout from that. That's what that one's about. And that series is actually coming back for, you could call it season 2. I think next month. But what I'm really excited about is their whole volume 2, starting with, I think it's issue 7 coming out next month. It's going to be in color. The original series is black and white, but I'm very excited for color because one of my knocks against that series is that sometimes, because of the art style, it's hard to tell people apart. I think adding color will completely fix that. So, very cool. C. Rook, speaking of David F. Walker, says his Luke Cage run is really good. If you ever have time, check it out. Word. I do need to get into some Luke Cage. I know he's got an omnibus coming out because this year's his 50th anniversary. But that's going to be like the original old school Luke Cage stuff that I don't know how enjoyable that's going to be. I was trying to see. I thought there was one more package I wanted to show you guys. It's over there. I got to grab it. Hold on. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open this package live on the Hangout because why not? And then after I open this, we'll get into our No Way Home reviews. So it's something I got off eBay from a guy named Michael. So shout out to you, Michael, on eBay. Oh, did I cut too? Let's just do it this way. Yikes. This guy really taped this box up. I'll tell you what, I don't know what my wife and my daughters are doing, but whatever they're doing, they're having the time of their lives downstairs. Let me know if you guys are still with me, because there seems like there's something weird going on with the comments thread here. All right. First of all, we got cardboard on top, which is a great sign that the person that sent this knows what they're doing. Okay, cool. Gabriel's here. C. Rook's here. That made me a little anxious. The knife a little close to slipping. Listen, man, me and Big Red, we're homies. Like, I'm a pro. Did I really make you guys that nervous? Watching people struggle with box cutters freaks me out, waiting for a digit to be lopped off. Yo, I wasn't going to cut myself. Man, me and Big Red are like this. We've been together for, as a matter of fact, I've been using this box cutter to open stuff on this channel since the channel started. It's a little dull, which is probably why it takes me so long sometimes. But I mean, it's the homie. Can't get rid of Big Red. I guess I could always like replace Big Red with another one that looks just like him. But yeah. All right. We got a bunch of newspaper, and we go through this every week because I clean up this office every week before the hangout, and then I start doing unboxing videos on Friday. Anyway, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Are you serious? What is happening right now? So he like stuffed this with like a bunch of like padding, which is good, but it's like so good that I can barely access the comics. It's crazy. There we go. All right. I gotta say, this guy knows his stuff. Almost makes me wish I actually did a unboxing video just so people can see how good this packaging is. All right. All right. Boom. Well, that's going to be fun after the show's over. So let's see what we got. All right. Let's see. Boom. It's funny. I was just talking about this. Jennifer's here. Just me and my 4 comments in a row. Sharpen the knife, use knife stones, or whatever they're called. Searook recently sharpened his hunting knife. Can cut through. I do not condone cutting your enemies like butter. Unless your enemies are butter. But anyway, after a long-awaited drum roll, that's what I got. I got Quantum and Woody. I got an entire stack of Quantum and Woody. So I do this thing where I kind of just go on these binges. Like I learn about a specific character or a creator. In this case, it's Christopher Priest. I've been on a bit of a Christopher Priest binge. Ever since the movie Zero got announced, or they announced that it was in development, I've been reading all these articles about Christopher Priest. And even as part of like my milestone comics research, I had been doing a bunch of research on Christopher Priest. And I found his old blog where he like talks about his adventures in comics, like all of them. And, you know, for me, that's kind of how it goes. Like if I find a creator that I like, I usually like find their personality outside of their books first. And then I'm like, all right, well, now let's dive into the books to see if this all matches up. If the books live up to the creator's outsized personality, so to speak. And so when I was doing research on Christopher Priest, it was funny because there's 2 things that people mentioned about Christopher Priest. It's Black Panther, but then also this, Quantum and Woody, kind of are revered as like a perfect distillation of who he is as a creator. So we got Quantum and Woody issue 0, issue 1. Quantum and Woody is written by Priest with art by Mark Bright, who also did the art on Icon. So I expect very good art. Oh, we got some of the new Quantum and Woody too, or maybe this is just a, let's see. Oh, it's just a variant cover. So that's cool. Variant cover for Quantum and Woody issue number 1. But yeah, so Quantum and Woody is basically like one of those things where I was just telling you guys about how Priest is kind of known for his sort of political and race related humor. And Quantum and Woody kind of puts that on full display. With it being an indie title, he can do whatever he wants. So it's been really cool stuff. Let's see. So, I mean, it's like a buddy cop type series. And they said he says that the characters were inspired by White Men Can't Jump, which I believe was Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. Oh, I love this cover. But I mean, this is like, it's meant to be funny. It's a book that doesn't take itself super seriously. So I imagine that it like, it said, "Oh my," is looking at the lady. But I imagine that this book is very cool. Parodies a lot of what we know about regular comics as well. So that's exciting. This series, interestingly enough, went on for a little while. It started with Valiant, back when Valiant was Acclaim, right? It ran for 17 issues and then got canceled. But when they decided to reboot the series later or start it back up, they didn't start with, oh wait. Okay, yeah. So there we go. So they didn't start with issue 18 when they rebooted. They started at issue 32 as if the series had never stopped. Which is like, what? What? And then they went through and renumbered and kind of started over to fill in the blanks between issues 17 and 32. But then they got canceled again at issue 21. So that's wild. That's an interesting story. I've never seen that in comics before. So I'm excited to get into these, is the point. So there's your unboxing within the Hangout, because why not sneak in an unboxing? So C-Rook said, "You've been on a major buying binge recently. I'm not a fan of singles, but these are cool." Yeah, so I'll try to see if they had an omnibus of Quantum and Woody. They do, but it's out of print. It's going for like $195 on eBay. Whereas I bought this. Let me pull up my eBay account, see how much I paid for this. Let's see. I got Quantum and Woody for $45. This is all of Quantum and Woody, besides the reboot they did like way later, which that I can buy at Organic Price Books because they have a deluxe hardcover of that. But yeah, I do this thing where I start researching stuff online, and then the next thing I do is just jump on eBay and start putting bids in. And I probably shouldn't do things that way. That's kind of the impulsive part of me. I do so good at budgeting, like my single issues and my omnis and stuff. Like I literally have a spreadsheet for every omnibus that I'm going to buy all year. So I know exactly how much I'm spending. I know what I need to like sell or make up for in other ways. But like it's this eBay thing that kind of feels like hunting for comics and stuff. So this, like my milestone stuff like that. That's the more impulse shopping that I do. And it's fun. It's fun. Kev Carr is here. Sorry I'm late. How are you? I'm doing well, sir. I hope you're doing well. And no, they don't have to apologize for being late. Like, it's the Hangout. We're just hanging out. We're homies. C-Rook says, "What are your thoughts on dings, by the way? 60% of my collection has dings. I don't get bothered by my books to read them." That's pretty much me. I buy my books in order to read them. So I don't particularly care if there are like some dings here and there, but if I like the story, if I like the book or the character, then I do also want it like in the best condition possible, like that I can find. So a lot of times I might upgrade something. Now for like an omnibus, like a hardcover or something, no, I'm not tripping. But if it's like single issues, then yeah, I try to get them in good condition. But like for my milestone collection or even like something like this, it's like I just bought it to have it. I know I'm not going to resell it. I don't need to get it graded. And if I want a book in a specific condition, I'll actually look for it graded in that condition already. If I'm buying it like to collect, so to speak. Zoe, yo, am I late? Nah, you're right on time. You're right on time. So yeah, I agree with you, C-Rook. I'd rather them not be dinged, but it's not going to keep me from reading the story or enjoying it, or having something in my collection. So, all right. I've stalled long enough. We've gone through the whole first hour of the show. We talked about my favorite covers this week. This one won the prize if you didn't see my Instagram post. So yeah, let's see. Zoe started watching me recently, literally been binge watching, love the content. Starting your own collection is rapidly growing. An artist myself trying to work on comic work. Did you draw your profile picture? Because it looks dope. It looks dope. It's funny. I got into comics because I wanted to get into art. I'm not a good artist at all. I did buy this iPad with the goal of like doing more digital art. Let's pull up my Procreate. So I got a bunch of works in progress that I haven't quite finished yet. Can you see that? Is there a way for me to focus on this? Let's not. The camera's not going to focus. It's too bright. Maybe if I turn the screen down. How about that, Kicks? Whoops. Let's turn the screen down. And then, boom, there we go. So this is a Batman that I'm working on. So that's really cool. But yeah, I'm not a professional, nor do I aspire to be, but drawing is fun. So I'm trying to like practice it and get better. Like I want to be good enough to like do a random like variant cover one day, but I wouldn't be a working artist. That's a lot of work, a lot of pressure. Couldn't do that. What? A bird somehow flew into my bathroom. You gotta close your windows, dog. Kevin Carr went to an Ollie's, got all 3 volumes of Batman Eternal and Robin War hardcover. That's dope. I don't think I saw the Robin War hardcover. Maybe I did, but that's dope. That's super dope. Let's see. Zoe says that's super cool. Well done. Keep us updated with it. I'm a tattoo artist by trade. Yo, I appreciate it. You know what? I've been trying out these Instagram reels or like YouTube shorts or whatever. Maybe I'll do my art in those because where else would I put those? Gabriel says, awesome Batman. Thank you. That's super flattering. It's because I read comics all day. I know how my work stacks up to like professionals, and it's nowhere near that. But I'm trying to get better at just like pushing through and appreciating my own growth and development and, enjoying the creativity. But anyway, so now that we've done all of that, it is time to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home, because I finally watched No Way Home. And as soon as I find a good picture to throw up on the screen. All right, I like this one. So let's share the screen. All right. So Spider-Man No Way Home. We're going to do our super late spoiler review. Let's see. Reels are so much effort. I need to bother with that stuff more, but it's long. I feel the same way. And you know what's hilarious? I am a social media marketer or I'm a marketing consultant. I'm a marketing consultant by trade. I teach people all day long how to make money on social media. And I hate using social media personally. But as a professional, I can't deny the reach and the growth. So I posted I'll show you, I'll tell you guys this. And then I promise we're going to get to this review. So I posted a reel today. I recorded it with my camera because I just happened to have the camera out and set up. But I actually posted a reel and I posted it as a YouTube short also.
True life. I'm addicted to comic books.
And it's just showing all of where the comics are in my room, like, and how they've taken over all of my free space. And it was cool, but this reel, let's see, where'd it go? So this has 1,100 plays so far. It's only got 20 likes, but 1,100 plays is a lot of plays. But here's the other part that's crazy. If I go to my insights, the accounts that I have reached this week are up 400%. Like, so as a marketer, I can't ignore these numbers. And I think the crazy part about that is most of the people that I've reached in the last week are not people that follow me already. So it's like if I want to reach new people, I got to do this like short form content, but it's like I don't care about this. But anyway, so I feel your pain, Zoe. That was the whole point. That was the whole point. Is No Way Home coming to Disney Plus? Not anytime soon. It is on Stars. I believe it's coming to Stars. But No Way Home finally got their video on demand release. So I bought it on Amazon Prime on Tuesday and I finally watched it. I I watched it a couple of times, but I hadn't gotten all the way through the end until today. Um, C. Rook says he thought it was through Netflix. I th- I don't know. What I saw said it was coming to Stars. Let's see. I'm gonna type in No Way Home Netflix. Yeah, I think you can't stream it. Yeah, everything says it's gonna go to Stars first. So maybe the Netflix deal expired. But anyway, let's see. The thing with short form content, a lot of people I know who watch it won't watch longer content. That's very true. That's very true. It was an emotional roller coaster. Loved every minute of it. So yeah. So I bought No Way Home on Amazon Prime. Finally finished it today, and man, all the feels. The one thing I will say is I very much feel like I should have watched this in the theater. Like, I know I would have enjoyed it even more if I had like 60 strangers around me cheering at the same stuff that I was internally cheering at, right? Um, so again, this is going to be spoiler filled because I thought I was the last one who hadn't seen it. So if you haven't seen No Way Home, I'm gonna give a light plot overview, but then I'm gonna dive into like some actual spoilers. And there's really only one. No, there's like two big spoilers. So I'll let you know when those come out. But general plot overview, you could probably guess from the trailer. So at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, Far From Home, Mysterio reveals Spider-Man's secret identity as being Peter Parker, and we pick up right where that moment left off for this movie. And so now the world knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and it is causing all kinds of havoc in his life. All of his friends and family are affected by this news being compromised and leaked. And so that's the whole thing. You got Spider-Man whisking Mary Jane away from people who are like, oh, by the way, Mary Jane, or excuse me, MJ, her name isn't Mary Jane. And I don't know if I like just didn't remember that from the first two movies, but they made a point to say she's not Mary Jane, but she is MJ. Um, but anyway, and I think that kind of was to further establish that this Spider-Man is not the Spider-Man from any universe that you're used to. We'll get to that later. But yeah, so No Way Home. Yeah, Spider-Man. It's revealed that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and all the consequences you could think of happen. The biggest thing that happens as a result is that neither Spider-Man nor his best friend Ned nor MJ, none of them got into the college they wanted to go to. And the reason that was cited in the denial letter was recent controversy surrounding Peter Parker. So Spider-Man, feeling bad for his friends, is like, I gotta find a way to undo this. And he goes to Doctor Strange, like, yo, can you like rewind time, try to fix this? Doctor Strange is like, nah, because I don't have the time stone anymore, remember? And he's like, oh yeah, cool. He's like, but I do have a spell that I can use, and everyone is going to forget that you're Peter Parker. And, you know, if you saw the extended trailer, basically the whole trailer was this big scene that sets up the movie. Spider-Man is trying to like bargain with Strange. Oh, can this person know? Can that person know? Whatever. Spell gets out of control, and somehow during that spell casting, the multiverse gets opened. And so the whole plot of this movie is our MCU Spider-Man, for lack of a better term, because I don't know if he's 616 or what, but our MCU Spider-Man is now fighting villains from other Spider-Man multiverse possibilities, right? So we get Doc Ock comes back, we get the Lizard, the Sandman, Electro, and of course Green Goblin, all played by their counterparts from the original and sequel trilogies. Well, it's not a sequel, but they're all played by the people from the movies, basically. And as you can see from this spoilery teaser photo, a part of the resolution is bringing the Spider-Man from those universes back to help MCU Spider-Man fight them off. So anyway, lots of cool action, a lot of comedy in this one. The whole Spider-Man finds out, or the world find out that Spider-Man is Spider-Man. That's funny. And then there's like a scene where Peter Parker and MJ are in the apartment. They look like they're in a compromising position, but they're not. So that's funny. There's a lot of comedy in this movie. I missed that comedy. There is a very epic fight between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. You got to see the movie if you only watch that. That's really dope. The dude that plays Green Goblin steals the show. Just good acting. Just really good acting. Tobey Maguire, I don't know. Something about it, like something about his appearance in the movie felt weird. And maybe it was just them trying to acknowledge that he was an older Spider-Man, more mature. But something was just weird about him in the movie. Loved Andrew Garfield. And the resolution, I won't spoil the resolution, but it was good. It was good. Are y'all going to make Spider Babies? Right. There's like a dude screaming like he's MJ's biggest fan. Are you going to have his Spider Babies? There was a lot of like just funny stuff. J. Jonah Jameson is back from the original Spider-Man, but you guys knew that from the last movie. But yeah, so basically, you know what? I am going to spoil the end because I said I was going to spoil it. So we get this rift opening up. All these villains from different Spider-Man movies past, they come, and basically Peter Parker's trying to help them out because they all realize, yo, in my world, I was about to die, and somehow I got brought here. And so Peter Parker's like, oh, wait, they don't have to die. They don't have to die. Like, you know, we can fix them. We can do whatever. And so that's why he's fighting Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange's like, yo, we got to put these dudes back right now. And Spider-Man's like, nah, there's got to be another way. And of course, one of the villains breaks bad, and that causes a bunch of havoc. And Gabriel says, Willem Dafoe plays Green Goblin. The way he did the split personality, I wonder if he could pull off Two-Face in the future Batman film. I mean, the way he did this, I think he could. I don't know if he would, since he's already Green Goblin. That's such an iconic villain. But yeah, he did such a great job with that role. So yeah. So well, I guess there's really not a need to spoil it if you don't want the movie spoiled. There's a death of a major character in this movie that like really hits you in the heartstrings. One thing that Tom Holland does really well are these death scenes, because Tom Holland in Endgame almost got me to cry. Was it Endgame? Not Endgame. Um, Infinity War. When Tom Holland got all snapped in Infinity War, I was like, yo, get back in there, Tyr. And he did the same thing with this major character's death. And they let that moment linger for so long. I was telling my wife, I was like, yo, if we were in the movie theater, I already know, like, I'd be crying right here. um, but yeah, so that was interesting. That hit me. But yeah, so the movie ends with the only way to really get everybody back into their respective multiverse Earth places is to cast the spell and make everyone forget who Peter Parker is. That includes the Avengers. That includes everyone. And so Doctor Strange casts the spell, and Spider-Man tries to meet up with some people that he knows, and then realizes, it's probably for the best that I don't interrupt their lives. And he just goes to being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man again. He gets a new suit, which looks really cool. I like his new suit. But yeah, so yeah, that's how it ends. On a really sad note, with nobody knowing who Spider-Man is. Kevkar says, only thing I had a problem with was there wasn't enough screen time of that new suit at the end. Yeah. Or at least like let it linger a little bit. Like I wanted to get a good look at it because when we were looking at it, it was always in motion and it was very quick. It almost felt like the tease that you would get in like a post-credit scene, but it was during the movie. So I agree with you there because I was like, I like that suit. But I'm like, what would you do? You wouldn't have him like fight a new villain, right? So I don't know. But yeah, so beyond kind of resetting Spider-Man to kind of give him like a whole new back to the basics type of setup, right? Because if we get a new Spider-Man movie that follows this trade, he's not going to be doing the stuff he did before, which is a lot of the stuff that people were complaining about. Spider-Man shouldn't be in the Avengers. Spider-Man shouldn't be all attached to Tony Stark. Well, Tony Stark's dead. And Spider-Man is not an Avenger. Nobody knows who Spider-Man is. So he's very much back to, this is me broke sewing my own suit in an apartment. So this is a way to get back to that if the changes are not like undone, as C. Rook is saying. But yeah, this movie will perfectly lead into Doctor Strange 2, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and that's exciting. The post-credit scene is basically a big trailer for that. And then there's also a tease because we get Eddie Brock's Venom we get Eddie Brock's Venom in the post-credit scene. And he's getting like blipped back into his portion of the multiverse, and we see like a very small part of the symbiote gets left behind. And so obviously the implication is that now the Venom symbiote is in New York and it's going to take over somebody, and presumably the next Spider-Man movie that's set in the MCU will have a Venom in it. So that's interesting. I'm curious to see how they work that in, if they work that in. But I mean, if you know Kevin Feige, there's nothing in a movie that should not be in the movie. So I'm sure they're going to follow up on that. So that's interesting. C-Rug, I have the Venom song by Eminem stuck in my head now. Venom, Venom. I hate that song. I always make fun of my wife. My wife loves the Venom movie. I don't make fun of my wife, but when she brings up that movie, I just sing that song. Are you excited for Doctor Strange 2 and Morbius? Yes to Doctor Strange 2, no to Morbius. I don't particularly care about this whole spider villain verse that Sony's doing. I watched Venom 1. I've never watched Venom 2. And I don't have any plans to see Morbius anytime soon. Venom's my favorite comic character. I love Donny Cates' Venom run. And I've heard that if you like Donny Cates' Venom run, you might like Venom 2. I don't know. I didn't see Venom 2 yet. Not gonna lie, I teared up when Andrew saved MJ. Yeah. Yeah, that was one of those moments too. Like, because there's a moment where MJ is like about to have the same fate as Gwen Stacy. And Tom Holland, arts, yeah, I'm just gonna start naming using their real names. So Tom Holland goes to save her, is not successful. So we think, oh snap, Mary Jane's gonna die. Andrew Garfield clearly sees his past flash before his eyes and is like, not again. He saves MJ in a way that's like, oh, this is what you should have done with Gwen Stacy, because he doesn't like let the web like catch her and kind of pull her that way, so it doesn't snap her neck or anything. He like kind of pulls her a little bit and then lands under her and catches her. So like, anyway, the way he did it was like, yo, you got a do over. You got a Gwen Stacy do over. That was awesome. Um, there's all there's also a moment where Tobey Maguire just keeps telling Andrew Garfield that he's amazing. Like, and it sounds like, hey, I don't care what anybody says, you were good as Spider-Man. You deserve a Spider-Man 3. Like that, it was like all of that came through in there. But yeah, that was it was really good. There were a lot of moments in this movie that like tug at your heartstrings. This was like the end game of Spider-Man movies, where you just kind of get like a bunch of revisiting of stuff from the past. It was cool. It was cool. Green Goblin stole the show. The death of that major character was like, dang, did they have to do that? They didn't have to do that, but they did it. But okay, all right. I'm gonna spoil it. I'm gonna spoil it. I'm gonna spoil it. Aunt May dies. But like in this universe, he doesn't call her Aunt May, he just calls her May. But May dies in this movie at the hands of the Green Goblin. But before she does, she tells Peter Parker, or Tom Holland Spider-Man, that with great power comes great responsibility. And we find out later in the movie that he had never heard that before. Like, that's basically like, we always just assume that Uncle Ben happened back in the day or whatever. But we don't really get any mention of it in the other two Spider-Man movies, because it's not Uncle Ben's death that makes Spidey want to be Spidey. Like in this, Aunt May's influence was even more. So we get like this movie, while being a conclusion to a series, feels like a rebirth or a re-origin story for Tom Holland's Spider-Man that was really, really cool. But I love the moment between the three of them where they're all like, with great power comes great responsibility. And he's like, oh, how'd you know that? Oh, Uncle Ben said it the day he died. Like that was a great moment. That was a great moment. I don't know if this whole Spideyverse reunion was planned the whole time, but man, it was really good. It felt like you got closure from each of the other Spider-Man franchises and closure from this one that like dovetails perfectly into whatever they're going to do next. It was great. This was really, really good. Really, really good. I don't know where it ranks for me. I still think Homecoming is probably my favorite Spider-Man movie. This would be right under that, and then Into the Spider-Verse right after this, if I had to do my ranking today. Gabriel Green Goblin was great in this movie. I agree. Stole the show. What else were my takeaways from this movie? That was pretty much it. Oh, so there's a moment where Jamie Foxx, Electro, meets Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, and the whole thing is like most of the movie they don't have their masks on. So, but their villains are seeing their faces for the first time in a lot of instances. So Andrew Garfield meets Electro, and Electro is like, yo, man, like you're from Queens, you know what I'm saying? Like you save a lot of poor people. I just assumed you would be black. I was kind of hoping you'd be black. And then he goes, I mean, there's a bunch of multiverses. There's got to be a black Spider-Man somewhere. And so all of these indications are that Miles Morales is going to be coming to a movie screen somewhere near you soon, or at some point. So that's cool. And there was an article that came out like last week that Will Smith apparently teased that Jaden is going to be Miles, but he didn't say that. He said that Jaden was about to be a major character that had been teased for a long time. And so people ran with that and they're like assuming that that's Miles Morales. But funny enough, Jaden Smith has also been rumored to be playing Static Shock. And Static Shock movie has been in development for a little while too. So I don't know which of those we're getting. Honestly, I don't know that I want to see Jaden Smith as Static or as Miles, but we'll see. Kevin Carr says Miles Morales confirmed. Right. Very heavily teased. I'll tell you that much. I'll say this though. Before the movie came out, there was all this like analysis, like, oh, what are these teases? What do they mean? And there was a black lady, a random black lady in a car, and everybody was like, oh, that's Miles Morales' mom. And that's not who that lady was. So, rumor debunked. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know because if I will say this, if it was Static, it probably would have been announced by now if Jaden Smith signed on to be Static. Just because Milestone has really been trying to hype up their comics. So like they would have leaked that information. If the movie was far enough in development and that casting decision had been made and it was somebody that famous, like they would have gone out with it. Just like they went out with, yo, Michael B. Jordan's producing this. So it's happening. So yeah. Star Wars fans are like that. This random attractive redhead has to be Mara Jade Skywalker. Right. Right. Watching Zoolander for the first time, can't stay. Had to give you a like, tell you I'm proud of you for officially admitting that you have a comic problem. So proud. Thanks, man. Thanks. Thanks. I don't think I want to do anything about it, but I admitted it. So there's that. Have you seen The Batman yet? No. It would probably take me another 3 months to watch The Batman. I don't think I'm going to make it to a movie theater for that one either. Going to the movies with a newborn is just so hard. It's so hard to go to the movies when there's a newborn in your life. But The Batman will be on HBO Max. I think they said April 17th or April 12th. One of those. And so that's way sooner than No Way Home. So I'll see that one. I probably won't see it in theaters, but whatever the first day it's available for streaming, you better believe I'm streaming it. Let's see. RJ Kyler would be a great Miles. The Blue Ranger in 2017. I know I liked the Blue Ranger, but let's see. RJ Kyler. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. There was somebody else. I think it's the kid from Blackish that they were rumoring to be the new Miles. And who else was it? There was somebody that like walked all up and through a red carpet appearance. Who was that? I'm trying so hard to remember. So hard to remember. But anyway, where are we at? Hoarder? What's that? That's funny. We all have comic problems here. Yeah. So to be fair, my problem isn't the comics. Like I don't feel like because I do a great job of sticking to a budget and you know um not buying more than I can afford. And I feel like that's when comics are a problem. But I'm quickly running out of space. That's my problem with comics. And I'm not the most organized because oh yeah, all right. Here's the problem. I've gotten to the problem. Um when it comes to comic books, I am buying faster than I can read. And that's the real problem. Because I don't want to put a comic in a short box until I've read it because I know that I am out of sight, out of mind. Once I put the comics away, I am never going back in that box again. My room is clean. That is it. That is the end of it. So I gotta buy less comics so I can read them on time, or or I need to just like read more books digitally. So I'm gonna try to read more books digitally. I've been doing a great job. So I've been reading this the Uncanny X-Men. Uh, but the other problem with digital, and this is what I'm finding as well. This is another thing that I'm finding is an issue for me. With digital, there's like thousands, if not millions, of comics in your pocket or in your on your little device, whatever device you have, right? So if you're someone like me who like has a short attention span or just will try anything that has been recommended to you, I start so many books. I started Usagi Yojimbo today. I had no plans on reading Usagi Yojimbo. I started Quantum and Woody last week. Um, there's a lot. There's a lot that I just like. Ooh, this looks cool because I got all these services, so they're all free. So like, ooh, I was talking to Dennis Cowan 2 weeks ago. That sounds like a flex. It's not a flex. But I was talking to Dennis Cowan 2 weeks ago on another live stream, and he was like, "Oh, if you want to see indie comics done right, check out Love and Rockets." And I was like, "Oh snap, Love and Rockets is right here on Comixology. Let me read it." So it's like all that, all that is why reading comics digitally can be a bad idea for me. But I can't deny the convenience. I love it. I can literally read comics while I'm holding my baby now. And that was something I couldn't do before. That's why I'm as far in X-Men as I am. I'm actually going to have an X-Men review out this month. Finally, 3 months late, but it's happening. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to talk about. I'm probably going to end this soon. I'll say this though. I started reading this book and I only got like 4 pages in, but the artwork is amazing. Like Dan Mora on World's Finest, drawing Batman, drawing Superman, drawing what appears to be Dick Grayson in the younger years. Alfred's in this book. Look, man, look at this page. This is the page that was like, oh, snap. This is only page 2. 1, 2, 3. This is page 4. But I was like, yo, this is amazing. And so if you're like me, you didn't read sheesh, now I'm just flipping through. I shouldn't be flipping through, but this is epic. There's some really cool stuff happening in this book. But yeah, really, really love it. Really love this book. So this is most likely going to be my favorite book this week, but I got a whole stack to get to before I can decide that. Let's see. Yeah, man, Metallo's in the book. Poison Ivy's in the book. I think I just saw Giganta in the book. So yeah, a lot to be excited about. Hopefully the writing holds up, but the art is beyond good. Robotech says don't leave. I got to, man. I have to at some point. Everyone in the chat room thinks you're dope. I appreciate it. I think you guys are dope too. What are your thoughts on Batman 89 and Superman 78? I've never watched the original Superman movies. I tried watching the first one. I didn't make it out of Krypton. Like that whole opening scene in Krypton or Krypton, as Marlon Brando calls it, just never made it through it. So I technically have never seen Christopher Reeve as Superman. So I already knew that Superman 78 wasn't going to do it for me. So I never picked up the series. I might check out an issue digitally though, but I know it's not going to hit the same for me because Batman 89 and Superman 78 are supposed to be seen as sort of pseudo continuations of what was being done in the movies before they got interrupted by other movies. So I don't know that Superman 78 is going to do it for me. Batman 89 was interesting. I read the first 3 issues. Because I don't know if you guys ever heard the rumor that Marlon Wayans was supposed to be cast as Tim Drake in that series. Ended up not happening, of course. We got Chris O'Donnell as Dick Grayson in Batman Forever. But originally, Marlon Wayans was going to be Robin. And that was interesting. I read the first 2 issues of Batman 89. And we got like that first appearance of the Black Drake. And that was cool. But I ended up not watching it or not finishing it because I didn't. I needed to make room on the pull list. So I'm going to get the hardcover. I think the hardcover for that comes out next month. And forgive me, I'm a little congested. So I'm going to go pretty soon, actually. Afro Sci-Fi's here. He's late. He's going to have to watch the stream tomorrow. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you watching. I spoiled a major death in No Way Home, just in case you're like me and hadn't seen it until today. Let's see. Did I talk about everything? What's coming up later? Tomorrow I got another unboxing coming. It's an Omnibus unboxing. And I'm working on a video about how to order comic books so you don't miss out on the books that you really want, ratios and all that. JLA Avengers. I meant to talk about it today, but that came out this week. Is Batman the Rise and Fall Omnibus worth it? I've only read the first story arc, but I would say yes. The artwork is amazing. I'm pretty sure I did an overview of that book on this channel, but the artwork is great. By all accounts, it's one of Tynan's best works. It's definitely better than the whole Joker War Fear State saga, but really good stuff. Let's see. With the next Batman that comes out, I hope they include Robin. Yeah, I would like to see like a good Batman and Robin on screen. I feel like, no offense to Chris O'Donnell, but that hasn't happened yet. Because Chris O'Donnell was like 30. Like, we were supposed to. Why was Bruce Wayne taking in this grown man? How old was he supposed to be in Batman Forever? But yeah, we haven't had a good Robin on screen. I wonder if studios are like afraid of the whole seduction of the innocent aspect of Batman and Robin's relationship and how to properly portray it on screen. But I would love to see a live action Damian Wayne, like Batman finding out he's got a son. That whole first 3 to 6 issues of Grant Morrison's run. I'd love something like that. That'd be cool. But I mean, we get it in animated form. You think they could do the Court of Owls in the future Batman film? I think so. From what I hear about this Robert Pattinson Batman is very heavy on the detective aspect. And if that's the case, the Court of Owls is a perfect story to explore the detective aspect even more. But yeah, I would say the Rise and Fall of the Batman Omnibus was worth it. And yeah, I can literally breathe out of one side of my nose. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a night, get some tea, and get back because I got to record tomorrow's video. But I appreciate you guys being here with me on the Hangout. Once again, thanks to Ultimate Comics for sponsoring the Hangout. If you guys are done here, go ahead, go to the link in the description. Go to Ultimate Comics live show. They are live until about 10 p.m. selling key issues, back issues, sets, and all that. And if you're in the Raleigh area, you can check out, one of their stores in Raleigh, Durham, Cary, or inside the Crabtree Valley Mall. Vicks in warm water. Thank you for that tip. Let me get back on the screen. There we go. I'm going to try that. And thanks, Zoe, for being here. I appreciate you stopping by. And that was dope. Guy that played Nightwing and the Titan show was good. Just need a Robin on the big screen. Yeah, I would like to see a Robin on the big screen. My vote's Damian, but Damian's my favorite, so that's why. How was B? I didn't get to meet the Yellow and Pink Ranger. I don't remember what was happening that day, but it was too much to try to squeeze that in with the thing we had to do that afternoon. I think it was something at my church. I don't remember. I remember. It was my sister's birthday party. There was no way to go to my sister's birthday party or dinner and meet the Yellow and Pink Rangers all in the same day. I would have been running around all day. So I didn't get to meet them, but I did get a shout out from Makia Baris on Instagram. So that's kind of the same thing. But yeah, I'm going to have to catch them next time. But look, thank you guys for joining the live stream. Hope you enjoyed it, even though I was all congested and stuff. Hope you had a good time. Hope you saw something you liked. If not, that's cool. You can always buy what you like. Just make sure you read what you buy and be nice to others, because kindness makes the world round. Peace.